We're excited to have as our interviewee today and another co-host, one of our friends of the show, David Squier, who's going to help talk about the market, the shifting market, the skill sets that you need, what he's doing with his coaching clients.
Yeah, join us today on the Wandering But Not Lost podcast.
This is the Wandering But Not Lost WBNL podcast, where real estate and reality meet. And now your hosts, Jan O'Brien and Matt Emerson.
Well, welcome to the WBNL Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where real estate and reality meet. This is episode 225. You can find all of our show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. Jan O'Brien. Happy Lunar New Year.
Oh, yeah. It's the year of the...
Year of the rabbit.
Rabbit.
Year of the rabbit, although in the Korean calendar, year of the cat.
Okay. Rabbit, cat. All I know is I'm a horse.
All I know is I'm a tiger.
I mean, I'm a tiger. What do you mean?
We're
Born the same year.
I don't know how that worked out because we were born the same year.
I think we're water tigers or something.
Anyway, special guest, David Squier. We haven't had David Squier on the show in a while.
No, it's going to be great. And it's perfect because he's dealing with his coaching clients and same as me. And I'm excited to have a conversation with them about what are people struggling with? How is everybody adjusting? What is he having everybody focus on to find the way to generate business? Many people are talking about not having a business. That is not my attitude, but that's what we're going to talk about and hopefully inspire our listeners with some ideas to get out there and find the people that want to buy or sell houses right now.
Well, awesome. Let's bring him on in, Mr. Squier.
Howdy. Good morning. Thanks for
having me. Here he is, David.
Thanks for having me back. Hey, we didn't do the head thing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here we are. And if you have not been listening to the show for long, David and Matt and Jan, we go way back. We've worked in a company together. David and I have known each other. I was actually David's broker at one time.
One of my first.
Years ago, David really introduced me to this cool business plan that he'd adapted from a book, really, that's been around forever with his team. So he's been a team leader. He's been a coach and trainer all his life, and you're still doing both, right? You have a team and you're coaching clients. Are you mainly in Nevada? You have clients outside of Nevada now?
I have clients. Not just real estate clients. So I'm technically a business coach. So I have a couple of different types of businesses in different states, but I do have real estate teams in multiple states right now.
Wonderful. Great stuff. You've really expanded your coaching business. And so we all know each other quite a long time, and you've been on the show several times, but today we want to really jump into a couple things. Like, I want to get your take on the market and how you're helping your agents. One of the coolest things that it impacts us, and here in Nevada, Cosmo and my team, is David does this weekly stats, right? And I'm going to tell you, I sent somebody else to you for that, because it's amazing because you've been doing it for how long?
I've been doing it for 25 years. The current stats sheet I have goes back to about 2018, which is I modified my parameters or my metrics a little bit. And that was when the market was really peaking again for the first time after the downturn. So it was a perfect time. And I have a history of what's gone on week to week without fail since May of 2018.
And honestly, that is one of the key things that you introduced to us, and I've shared with others, that has helped me really become more of a local market expert, which I then talk to everybody about, which has impacted my business. I really want to talk about start with that today. How do you help others besides that with, like, why are you a big proponent of having your clients, your coaching clients, your agents know that if they know the market, then that is step one to being the knowledge broker, right?
Correct.
So I want to have you talk a little bit about how do people do this? What do you have them do besides this weekly? Like what's the power? Have you had some major ahas with people because that's what I'm saying. I had the aha of Matt knows because I'm constantly talking about the market. It has totally impacted how we show up because we do a lot of online stuff and videos, and he takes that, my partner Cosmo takes that and does a video every week based on those numbers.
Hey guys, I'm going to bounce out, let you guys talk about stats, and I'll join you on the other side.
All right, Matt. So Jan, so I'll explain the numbers. The numbers are, I go into the MLS every single week. I do it myself. It takes me about 5 minutes. I've really got it wired. I go in. And my agents that I am coaching outside of the Vegas market, I have them set up pulling their own numbers as
in
well.
their MLS software.
Their own MLS. Yep.
Right
So
on.
I just do a save search, and I pull up the most important things that I think we need to know to be an expert, right? So we need to know how much inventory there is. We need to know why knowing inventory is important.
Yes.
What does that mean? Are we in a buyer's market? Or are we in a seller's market? So inventory is very important. That's how many homes on the market, how many homes went under contract last week, how many homes sold and closed last week. And that gives us our weeks of inventory, which allows us to understand exactly where we are in the market at any given time, because you can be in a seller's market and you can be in an extreme seller's market, or you can be in a marginal seller's market. And
Right.
there's a big difference.
Huge.
So for example, right now we are in a marginal seller's market. Technically, we're under 6 months of inventory. So that keeps us into the seller side, technically. And
But buyers are a little bit more in control at the moment in
Correct.
most cases.
Take a year or a year and a half ago, we were in an extreme seller's market, and buyers were victims. Of course, the sellers controlled the market. Well, now we start to see, Jan, you're a big proponent of the new home market, right?
Mm-hmm. Right now, we're seeing opportunities in new home. That's why we pivoted to it.
Absolutely. So understanding your market allowed you to make a decision to shift into an area
100%.
that is better fit for our market, right? Smart.
Correct.
That's how it works. So understanding, are we in an extreme seller's market? Are we in a marginal seller's market? That's part of it. Are we in a buyer's market? Are we in an extreme buyer's market? Any of that, because it allows us to negotiate harder for our clients.
Yep.
Now we're seeing sellers pay closing costs, sellers pay points. People are freaking out about interest rates. Don't worry about it. Just go negotiate. One of the key skill sets that I'm going to talk about today is negotiation, because now we know, if we know our market, we know that sellers are willing to negotiate, to pay points, to pay buyer's closing costs, to do buy downs, all of those things, right?
Exactly.
There are contingencies accepted now on the buy side. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
I have one right now.
Yep. So understanding your market, brands you as an expert, and everyone thinks they know their market or says they know their market. And in my experience, Jan, and no offense to our peers or our industry, I call BS on that.
I agree with you. That's what I was just telling you in the top of the thing. I thought I knew it, but I just knew enough to say, some key things but not really understand what I was saying. Not understanding to the level I do now.
Right. So I'll run through what we look at. We look at, again, inventory levels. That's how many homes on the market, because that's very important. And a lot of people think our market is terrible right now. Our market, and by the way, all of the teams that I'm coaching across the country, their statistics are almost identical to ours. All of my coaching clients are experiencing about the same numbers. In other words, our inventory is up a little bit, but not nearly as bad as we thought it was going to be. Our demand, supply and demand is everything, right? Mm-hmm. Our demand is still very high. Our price reductions, that's something else I look at weekly. How many homes reduce their price? And we were at a ridiculous, we were at 1,225 price reductions in 1 week. Remember, Jan, about 3 months
when the interest rates change, there's a little delay, and then finally sellers are like, wow, we better move our price down. We're not selling.
Correct. And so we saw a lot of that happen. The dominoes started to fall there. Yep. The list price sales price ratio, that's very important.
Yeah, that's a big one.
We're bouncing around 97 percentile
yep.
still.
That's 3%. On average, things are selling 3%. And because of David helping me see this, when I'm talking to buyers and sellers, I can quote these numbers because I'm on it.
Yep.
A year ago, we were at 100%, even 101 sometimes. Now we're at 97. You can count the reality that no one's coming in at list price unless it's in a multiple offer situation. Here's the only time I'm seeing multiple offers is the home is completely renovated. It looks great, and they put the price down. Not, they're in a really good spot. But even then, people want to come in lower unless there are multiple offers. I don't know if that's what you're seeing, but Absolutely. We're having the opportunity to negotiate price, terms, closing costs with resale sellers and with new homes right now.
Yeah, and the beauty is, Jan, look, and Matt, I know you're grinning because Jan and I get so excited about this topic. I know you are, Matt. I can feel you grinning. However, Jan, we wouldn't be able to educate or consult our clients on the opportunities right now if we didn't know our market, right?
Exactly.
So our understanding of what exactly is going on in the market today helps us in every area of our business. It helps us in lead generation. You better have your numbers right in front of you at an open house, at when you're on the phones, when any type of lead, calling your SOI, any of those things, right?
Exactly.
Secondly, it helps us in listing presentations and buyer consultations, right? That's the first thing we.
So I want you to talk a little bit more. We're going to talk about the presentation skills and negotiating. So presentation and negotiating are two skills I know you're working with everybody on. But how are you helping the agents that, remember, I feel like everybody lost how to do listings if they have been in business as long as when we had all the short sales. That's where I started to see the degradation of people not even doing a listing presentation, to be honest. They would do a short sale consultation.
I got lazy, but
everybody did. But guess what? Now we got even more lazy as an entity, as a group, because a few years ago here during the pandemic, you didn't have to hardly do anything. You put it on the market and you had multiple offers. Now that's not the case. You should always have had a great presentation and marketing. So how are you helping your agents that you coach switch back to getting their sellers to get real? Because it's fun to work with buyers, because now the buyers are not on the sidelines going and being frustrated. They're like being picky and choosy, and I don't want that house. I want this one. And if you don't, hey seller, if you don't take the offer, I got 3 others over here I'm going to go buy. You're just number one. And what do you do? What do you help? Let's help people listening on, if you're going to go after listings. I know the answer is you got to know that you got to come back to the numbers, number one, and get people real about the numbers, right?
Right.
The market.
Yeah. You have to be the expert. And so let me just back up to a lot of what I'm hearing from a lot of people is how bad our market is right now. And our market is not bad. If you look at the numbers, we are between 30 and 45 days average or median days on market. And that is a very, very, very healthy days on market. Absolutely. For us as an industry, it's great. We have signs in yards, right? We have signs for maybe 60 days or even 75 days by the time it closes on average, right? So that is a game changer for our industry. It's the way it used to be. So 30 to 45 days on market is very healthy. 97% list price sales price ratio, very healthy. Price reductions are down. New listings are staying steady. Inventory is good. Our numbers are good. Interest rates, guess what? That'll change too. And people are negotiating right now. So the market isn't that bad. So let's stop saying that. Let's maybe not correct people. Let's educate people on what really is going on in our market. So it all goes back to that. And if you show up as the expert, and let's say now, Jen, would you agree that this market today versus a year and a half ago, we are more likely to be up against other agents in a listing presentation?
Yes, absolutely.
We're not the only agent, and they're interviewing now. Because they want value. They need value.
They want value. And they want somebody they can know, like, and trust that's going to sell their home.
Yep. They need an expert right now because it's not the 3 Ps anymore. Put it in the MLS, put a sign in the yard and pray, right? So no more of that.
It's the new 3 Ps.
Yeah. Yeah.
I use that, by the way. I say, I don't do those 3 Ps. This is what we do. We do preparation, pricing, and promotion.
Perfect. And that's the 4th P. It's perfect. So Jan, now along with that, here's a little nuance to our market that everyone should be aware of and quit complaining about how bad our market is. Do you think that the number of real estate agents that are active in our valley is dropping?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it already started happening when dues were due.
Dues were due, yes. So now there's less competition out there. So, anybody in a hot market, it's always happened. Discounters come out of the woodwork, and anybody and everybody can have a real estate license, and everybody knows someone, a cousin, a friend. That is changing. Now you have to be competitive and show value to compete in this market. So we are more likely to be up against other agents in a listing presentation than we were for a very, very long time. What that means is we need to have Absolute perfect listing presentation. We have to show value. We have to know how to connect with our people. We have to be the expert in our market. We have to give them advice so they can make smarter decisions before it's too late, right? So we don't wait for the market to shift to educate our sellers on those decisions. We let them know that we are going to keep you keep our thumb on the pulse of the market. And if one little thing changes that might affect you, we're going to educate you and make you aware of it. So having a specific, and please don't show up to a listing with a couple pieces of paper.
Right.
Have a real list. I mean, we talk about technology these days, right? We all talk about technology. Most of our companies brag that we are a tech company. And right. I still see agents showing up with pieces of paper. That's not technology. We need to have a real presentation. So take the time, build it in Canva, build it in whatever program you use. Make it look great.
It's the tools like Canva will help you make it look very professional.
Absolutely. And template it, Jen.
Yeah,
once
totally.
the template is built, it takes you 10 minutes.
I mean, I particularly like the Cloud CMA or a CMA program that makes your whole, instead of just printing out a quick CMA, put it into the presentation, the tools that you have. Everybody has something in their MLS that allows you to take it up a notch. That's all we're doing. Upgrade your presentation, you know?
Yeah, that Cloud CMA, you shared that with some of my coaching clients on one of our meetings we had, and they loved it. Some of them are still using it. And so there's something there, but don't just show up with a couple pieces of paper. Because I'm telling you, preparation, it goes back to your 3 Ps, Jen. Preparation is, they know that you prepared before you get there when you come with a real presentation. So that is one of the key skill sets I would recommend. Another is, of course, the buyer consultation. Now, we start our listing presentation talking about the market and how it's affecting our sellers today. And we start our buyer consultation and with the numbers and how it's affecting our buyers in the market.
Exactly.
Today. So again, having a perfect presentation where you show value, connect with your people, you appeal to their WIFM, you show them you're great, you don't tell them they're great. You're great.
Yes.
That's the filter. If it doesn't run through that filter, again.
And then it takes practice, right? I mean, if somebody's listening and they're like, well, how do I get there? Well, I tell people you've got to, if you don't understand the stats and the numbers like David and I are comfortable talking about right now, like if we were going to do a role play, we could, without even having paper in front of us, we could talk about what's happening and quote some numbers and stuff. If people aren't doing that, how do they dive in? Well, they've got to start somewhere. They have to go set that up. They have to start looking at the numbers. If they don't understand how to interpret the numbers, you know what drives me crazy on social media? I'll see somebody's doing a market report and all they're doing is saying, we had 570 new listings come on the market, and just put the stats without any, what does that mean to me as a consumer? That's worthless. Don't do that. But you have to learn. So how do they learn? They find some training on it. They get a coach like David who will teach them how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the coaching, Jen, you have coached me for many, 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 many years on a lot of things, and I've had other incredible coaches in my career, and yeah, that is always good advice. And I'm not saying that as a plug. I'm saying we have coaches.
Coach, yeah. But did anybody coach you? No, you went and did it. My whole point is, you created those numbers and started studying them and doing that and using it for yourself, but also using it. So that's what, you showed me. And then I got more excited about it. And then I went and found other things to get, because that's what people do. If you don't know, you go figure it out. And one of those ways is to get a coach. So if they need help with presentation skills or negotiating skills, go get the education, hire a coach, you have to go practice. That's what I'm trying to get across, right? You need to go recognize where are you lacking, because you can't just go out, take the seller's listing, not talk to them about anything, and hope it all works out, because you'll be an expired listing, and the guy that knows how to do expireds is going to be right behind you getting a listing and a sale. Which I track, expireds and withdrawn unconditionals, which means the agent. By the way, is a great niche right now, right? Correct. So, and it's like right now, I think you have to go find people that need to sell. There's a lot of people sitting on the sidelines, because you and I look at this every week and we know there's not as many new listings coming on the market as we'd like. And I think it's because people aren't motivated yet. They have great sub-3 interest rates. They refied to 2.75, 3.25. They're not properly motivated and the interest rates are a little higher. So the only ones putting their homes on the market are the people that need to move, or they're okay with that. Would you agree?
I would, and that brings up. I do want to. I'm going to come back to that, Jen. I want to go back to numbers before we kind of taper off from that topic. Be cautious. Numbers come from everywhere. You'll get them from the lender. You'll get them from title, and none of them are going to match up.
That is true.
Everyone pulls a different baseline or different metrics, right? So be careful of that. Find one. That's what's beautiful about my numbers.
And stay with it.
You can scroll back to 2018 on a spreadsheet and see every single week since May of 2018 exactly how many homes are on the market, how many price reductions, and it is amazing. Like, for example, in mid-May 2018, when the market was pretty hot, we had 5 or 4 price reductions total in the entire market.
Oh, wow.
4 or 5. And about 6 months ago, we had 1,200.
There you go.
So, you can see that
I mean, one stat can give you an indicator of what's happening, and then you put them all together, then you have the whole picture.
Right. And then the other caveat with numbers is numbers don't lie. However, trends don't happen in a week, 2 weeks.
There you go.
You gotta, no knee-jerk reactions when you're looking at numbers, right? Just interpret them, wait and see. And
here's an example of that. Are you happen to be looking at the weekly stats by any chance?
I'm not, but I can.
Okay, so if memory serves, the last 2 weeks here in the Vegas area, we've been over 500 new listings just for the week.
Yes.
Prior to that, now we have to take a look at the holidays. So we can always look at the holidays as, of course, it's low. Yep. But as soon as it was 300s after the holidays, 300-ish, then we had 2 weeks in the 500s. So when Cosmo and I saw the first 500 a couple weeks ago, we're like, not a trend. But hey, this is an indicator. I want to see if we have 500 or more for 2 or 3 weeks, and we know more or less. And that's an example of what the weekly stats can do.
And we have, Jan. So prior to the holidays, in mid-December, we were at 595, dropped down to 393, 245, 279, then back to 532, 540, 571.
So 3 weeks of fives.
Correct.
Starting to be a bit of a trend.
Right. So again, no knee-jerk reactions allowed. However, we numbers don't lie. Those numbers tell a story. Here's the last thing, because we could do this all day.
Let's talk one last thing, because I'm going to bring Matt back in, and we're going to ask you our famous 5, okay? Because we want your input as a coach and agent on our 5 questions.
Okay, but I want to mention a few more skill sets.
Okay.
So, everyone's talking about shift and rereading the book Shift and going.
Oh, yeah.
This is a hot topic right now, and you're going to hear 100 different versions, and it's really the basics are the skill sets that we need to focus on to bulletproof our business for any market. You and I, Jan, have been talking about this since the first day of COVID, and so those skill sets for me would be manage your database and your SOI and past clients to the highest of level. Mm-hmm. Because that is what gets us through any market. To your point earlier, Jen, people are always buying or selling in every market. The more people you're in front of, the more clients you're going to have. So that's one of the skill sets. The other, of course, are your presentation skills, and then your key systems. Do you have a business plan? Do you have systems in place? This is what we always
language, brother.
we always talk about this because it never changes. I don't care what business I'm coaching right now. All of them rely on
what market we're in. It's always what everyone needs to do.
Right. So keep it simple, stupid, right? KISS. Mm-hmm. And those are the key skill sets that we always want to stay focused on. And so the more clients you're in front of, the more opportunities you have. And then the last piece of that is, don't forget, when our market shifts, our clients want more value. And what changes with commissions?
Yeah, exactly. You mean like are you talking about like how much people are trying to get you to cut the commission and so forth based on what's happening or the value they see?
Discount discussions go away.
Oh, yeah, 100% when you bring value.
Right. They know they need an expert, and if you're showing value and connecting with them,
I got you. An issue. 100%. You don't come in with that.
Right.
Right on. All right. So let's ask you our 5 questions, Matt Emerson.
Oh,
you're muted, Matt. You are muted. You are muted. You are muted. We cannot hear you.
Yeah, that's because I had my mute on.
Okay.
because I would have been laughing, and you would have heard me if I wouldn't have had my mute turned on.
If you didn't mute.
All right.
You're Tank.
Two things I was going to say. I love listening to you guys talk about the stats. The stat that you put together, stats you put together, David, and that now that Jan does, and hopefully we have a lot of people that are doing it as well across the nation. They don't lie, and it's fantastic. The beauty of it is it's so simple, right? And you have collected the data points that are real, and it is just the most fascinating thing to go back and look at those to see what happens to the market and how quickly things can actually shift. It's crazy, and it gives an agent an opportunity to stay ahead of what's going on. Right? You can shift your business and be ahead on the wave as opposed to chasing and being
the key right there.
Yes.
So
you're able to see it coming and make the adjustments while everybody else waits to see. Then they jump in, and then they're behind. Great.
Number two, I could listen to you guys talk all day. It makes me very happy. You both light up when you talk to each other, and it is the coolest thing. We need to get you guys on a stage sometime soon because you guys would be so good.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
We always have fun on the stage.
I know you do. I've seen it a few times. It'd be awesome. Yeah. All right, so let's get to the Ask 5.
Okay.
The first one, you've been talking about skill set, so we know where you want people to focus on there. But let's dig back into, and I can't believe that I'm the one that actually has to say this, but I guess it's just my turn. Let's talk a little bit more about your database or your database. What is the best idea you have for your SOI and past clients?
The one that has given you the most return, of what you over all the years for you personally is what we're wanting to know.
Well, this is kind of a cop out, and it's the absolute perfect answer. Talk to them.
There you go.
Seriously, but I am a note card, a personal handwritten note card fan. All of my clients do them. I have all my clients on a 5, 5, and 5 where they're making 5 connections a day, 5 note cards a day, and 5 social media posts a day, and that's just in their daily activities. And I honestly, it is so old school. And now, Jan, you have really made video a big thing. So I think a lot of people, I think video is kind of rising up to the top. Cream's rising to the top with video.
It's already there, bro.
Yeah,
it's already there.
I mean, it used to be belly to belly, face to face connections, and secondly, it would be personal calls, and then note cards. But now I believe video and text even are rising up in that. So,
but nothing beats the call. Okay, I agree with you on that. Video for us is just getting people to connect with us in a warm way when they're ready, and it's easier and more fun to work with. That's what we're finding.
And you can get to the masses with that too. So yes, but just connecting with your people on a personal level, it's never going to change.
Good.
Okay. Number 2.
Yeah.
Top tactic
I thought you were going to do that, Jen. I'll jump in here.
Oh, I thought you were handling it.
David Squier, why don't you share your top tactic for generating new business?
Top tactic for
and what we meant here is not from your database.
Okay. Well, that would be, well, it depends. It depends on if it's okay, here's my top tactic for generating new business. Agent networking. Calling agents around the country, adding them into my database, and staying in touch with them. I have an 8-touch campaign. Once they go in to my CRM, they go on an 8-touch campaign. They get 4 calls and handwritten note cards from me, and they get 4 emails that are called "Here's What's Working for Us," where I share an idea that we used in the last quarter or two that really helped us grow. And so agent networking is my #1 growth tool.
I love it.
David's a numbers guy because he does the stats all the time. He's got the 555. He's got the 4 touches. He's got the 8. It's
a way to remember it. I love it. You know what? The agent network thing is something I'm going to integrate here now because I'm starting to. It's already naturally happening because I'm licensed in Florida, and I've got to find some more people that I can connect with to refer business to because I'm not going to be there anymore. So I love the agent network idea.
I have a new listing coming on this week that is an agent referral from an agent. One of my coaching clients, his agent referral network sent me a referral. So that's cool. So actually, we should consider that for a podcast in the future. We could cover a whole podcast on agent networking.
Absolutely. I'll write it down. Okay, cool.
What's number 6? Next question actually is my favorite one of the 5, actually, because I think it's something that everybody has to deal with in their life. And if you can identify this, you can move forward and really, really thrive. What holds you back, David Squier?
Well, I could say beer, No, I'm not going to say that. I don't even drink beer, so that's just beer, though. Anyway, I would say the thing that accountability is probably it. I mean, it's just it's actually doing what practicing what I preach. I'm a great coach. I can tell you what to do. Sometimes I don't do it as well. So the not following my systems and holding myself accountable. And staying in coaching or an accountability group, that's when I can see my business start to soften. Is not staying accountable to myself.
Wow, thanks for being
probably most people can deal with that or have that issue as well, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
You were going to say, Jan?
No, I was saying thanks for being, I think that's everybody's issue in a big way. And thanks for being vulnerable and saying that, because it's the reality, I think, for everybody. It's like a reminder that, yes, you got to be, it's easy to help other people, especially as a coach, because I agree, it's my issue too. Then you have to come back and go, you need to do what you're always telling other people to do.
Yeah. And it's funny, I go in waves, Jan. We all do, right? Like,
sure. Do that.
I'll become very accountable. And I, and the thing is, I know what to do. Accountability for me is, I know what to do. It's actually just taking the actions to jump back into it. I use the restaurant business as an example. I used to have to go to get my health card when I was in the restaurant business, and it expired every 2 years. And you had to watch this ridiculous video, and where the chef sneezes in his hand and shakes the other guy's hands, and they tell you got to wash your hands for 30 seconds and sing happy birthday twice, and all this stupid stuff that I'd known all along. But I got out of the habit of practicing, and I found myself going back after renewing my health card and being more aware and washing my hands more often. And so it's the stuff we knew how to do all along, and we get out of the habit of doing. So every once in a while, we got to kick ourselves in the butt or get our coach to kick us in the butt and get back in.
Very good.
Happy birthday. That's a long song. That's a lot of water wasting with happy birthday.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
I'm kind of thinking. All right. Hey, David Squier, number 4, what is your inspiration? Who inspires you, or what inspires you? People's books, podcasts, shows, etc. What's your inspiration?
People, obviously. I have some people that I coach that inspire me every day. Of course, you guys have inspired me on so many levels, and I'm not sucking up. That's the truth, right? And I have a few mentors in my life, that have really had a big impact on me. Not all real estate, not all business, just good people, And so I learned, Gary Keller. I've had an opportunity to be around Gary Keller quite a few times in my career, and he's a powerful guy. And Keller said one time, the first time I met him, we were having lunch in Austin, and Gary Keller said, David, I have a 3-foot radius rule. And he said, I like to surround my 3-foot radius with like-minded, motivated people. He said, because that brings me up rather than drags me down. And so it wasn't offensive the way he was saying it or anything like that. He was just saying to be a better leader, a better person, he surrounds himself with influential people that are like-minded and motivated. And he said, what I found was all of those, he said, I'm very protective. And he put his arms out like this and did 3-foot radius. And he said, I'm very protective of that. And he said, because what I find is that those people have the same principles. They surround themselves with their
very nice.
So people is the number one thing to inspire me. I love being around people. I love getting inspired by someone. I love idea people. So that's the number one thing.
That's awesome. That's really inspirational. It really is. I mean, you think about that,
I'm on a 3-foot roll. I'm on it.
I tell that story still.
Yeah, no, that is a great story. And then finally, David, what is your best advice for agents for 2023 and beyond?
I just gave it to you. It's understand your market, know your numbers, and fine tune your key skill sets. That's it. There's no better advice than that. And by the way, I love the way you said it. You didn't just say 2023. You said 2023 and beyond, because we don't know what's going to happen in 2024. And guess what? We're not going to be the ones that are behind the curve. Like you said, Matt, you want to ride the wave, right? You want to be in the front of the wave. So
exactly. Wonderful. Woohoo! I'm inspired. I'm ready. Let's go. I feel like I'm on
Good
track.
stuff.
Thanks, Coach Dave.
No problem.
Coach
All right.
Squier.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we'll do it again soon, I hope.
Yeah, definitely. I wrote down the agent network, and there's another idea in here for future podcasts, and that's just on about the whole. I want to get back to listing marketing, because we really need to get back to what does it look like on a listing presentation? How do you? We talked a little bit about today, but we can get more into the details on that in the future.
Yeah, that's such a good role play topic there, Jan. I mean, the people that I'm working with, my coaching clients, we're actually role playing. I'm talking high level people.
I love it.
People that are going to do 150 transactions this year, we're role playing their listing and buyer consultation.
I like the idea of doing some role playing on the podcast. I think people want to see that. They would like to see how we handle the objections and how we do it. We should do this. Okay, I think that's a brilliant idea. We'll have you back. We know you're busy. Thanks for taking the time, and we'll talk to you soon.
It's awesome. Coming up in episode 226 on the podcast is going to be an Ask 5 interview with Catherine Bavard, broker, coach, agent,
team leader now.
Team leader, local board politics, everything you want to know about Vegas and real estate in Las Vegas and Nevada next week on the podcast. Thank you, David, for joining us. Get up, get out. Go live the life you've dreamed and be forever wandering but not lost.
Bye, guys.